Through this, women in cyber fellows, they're coached, supported, and directly mentored as they prepare for and participate in United Nations cybercrime and cybersecurity negotiations. And this includes everything from drafting national statements to understanding multilateral negotiations dynamics, and also building confidence to speak in high-level settings. So what makes this measurable is our ability to track outcomes and also to monitor the impact. We track how many fellows speak during United Nations sessions, how many of them lead national negotiations, and also how many of them mentor others in their own ministries and agencies when they're back from New York. For example, at the latest and final session of the open-ended working room on security of and in the use of information and communication technologies, we monitored that over 50% of interventions were made by women, up from only around 1/3 of interventions made by women at the beginning of this process in 2021. And this is a significant jump also from 1980s when there were only 10% of women interventions in the first committee focusing on disarmament and international security. So this progress underscores the impact of sustained advocacy, capacity building initiatives, and also institutional support, particularly through programs like the Women in Cyber Fellowship, which has played a key role in empowering women from over 55 underrepresented countries to engage in international cybersecurity policymaking. These are tangible results and not just good intentions. And that leadership is truly visible, as many of our alumni, they now lead OEWG side events, they deliver national statements, and as we have seen here, they organize and speak at conferences like this one. But mentorship also needs to be accessible. For many developing small and underrepresented states, flying to New York or engage in UN negotiations would otherwise be impossible. So thanks to the Fellowship Donor Network, including Germany, Austria, Canada, and other countries, those barriers are removed. These women not only attend, but they also contribute meaningfully. We also built like an alumni network that sustains peer-to-peer mentorship long after the initial training ends. Fellows, they go on to mentor others, both within the program and inside their institutions, whether it's a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a CERT, a National Cybersecurity Agency. So to prioritize mentorship globally, we need to include it in funding frameworks. We need to include it and require it in project and grant design, and also push for institutional mechanisms that ensure it is sustained. We should also recognize peer-to-peer mentorship, especially in low-resource settings, as a powerful and scalable model. In short, mentorship works when it's intentional, resourced, and measured, and when it is, it transforms not only individuals, but it can also transfer the entire systems. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Clara, for that insight. It seems you're doing a lot, and even more so important that we've got people that have benefited from the mentorship programs right here in this room with us. Let me go to Horace. What's one thing mentors often overlook when guiding girls, and how can we become better listeners and supporters? You're one that mentors women, a lot of women. Give us your insights on that.
Thank you so much for that question. I feel like there are so many things that mentors usually overlook when it comes to inspiring or mentoring young people, especially females, in these spaces that we're talking about. For example, right now we're looking about the tech spaces. One example that I would highlight on is usually the fear of failure. I think mentors don't usually talk about the fear of failure. When encouraging girls, it is more said that you will succeed, just focus on this, you can do it. And they're expected to succeed without failing. And that is something that I have highlighted and I have seen in most of the scenarios that have been presented across me. So I am one of the person who believe that everyone should be taught that it's possible to fail. You can be a great person at something, but you still need to expect that at some point in time, it may be from your faults, it may be from the environment that you're in, you still expect to fail because someone said failure is inevitable. There are so many examples of people who have failed even though they were great. There's a very famous example that happened in real life of Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb. He said that he tried to invent the bulb and he tried 1,000 steps, but still the light bulb could not come on. After that 1,000 steps, that's when the light bulb came on. So you can see from the example that here is a guy who we recognize as the greatest inventor of all time, but he still failed. There are certain ladies as well who have failed. Ada Lovelace, for example, who is the first programmer, failed at something. You may recall, for those of you who study history, that in the 800s, women were not allowed to study mathematical things. But Ada Lovelace had to push through and persevere. She failed multiple times. And then she had to partner with various other people so that she comes to a successful point. So I will still highlight this point that as mentors, when we're pushing fellow young people, when we're pushing even girls in these fields of ICT, we need to be able to highlight to each other that failure is possible. But failure should not limit us, because when you fail, that should be the right moment where you should get up and go again. When you fail, you need to rise up and go again. And then with those steps, you develop the courage and the courage, and you go on, and then you come up to the point where you succeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Horace, for that profound encouragement. I hope that we all feel encouraged in a certain way. I'm pretty sure there's people in here that have failed before. It's more of do not give up, but that's something that gets to push you to do better, to be better. Yeah, so I will now go to Trapson.
How do you build meaningful mentorship relationships in settings where resources are low but passion is high? That's something that is a really, really important issue that we have to look into and discuss.
All right, thanks for the question. What I believe, passion will always beat budget. So the first thing I do, I always leverage on available resources. So I'll give an example. I've viewed networks myself. So there was a certain guy I was mentoring, but he wanted to write MSc exams. He didn't have the money to go to school. But since I have networks with some schools, I recommended the guy to a certain school. I had a meeting with the director, and they gave him a scholarship. So I feel like sometimes we can just leverage on our networks, and also we also prioritize on goals. I make sure when I'm mentoring someone, because if a person, let's say they want to achieve something in life, it's just a mere wish. So I make sure that they have vision on what they are trying to achieve. They have a clear written goal on what they want to achieve in life. And also I identify their strengths and weaknesses, and I build a strong supporting systems whereby when they achieve something, I celebrate with them, and when they fail to achieve something, I always encourage them. Yeah, that's what I do.
All right, thank you very much, Trapson. That's a really, really good point. It really seems that you're really committed to this aspect of mentorship. Yeah, I will now go to you, Wezi. How can we design mentorship
programs that don't only focus on urban or elite schools, but also bring in girls from rural and underrepresented areas? We know that majority of the Malawians are in the rural areas or underrepresented areas. How can we ensure or build programs that ensure there is a representation in those areas?
Thank you.
I think what we can do is to come up with a program that is actually well structured in the content of that program. I would give 5 key points that probably that program should contain. The first one should look at the technical skills. We should have foundation training, not necessarily intensive ones, but foundation for someone to actually understand. If we're talking about network security, what is it all about? They should understand from a perspective where they know something and then they move to something they don't know. For instance, you tell them about the house. The house has got a door, and then it has got some keys, and then you have got assets which you're supposed to protect within your house. And then a hacker, you have to mention like something like a thief who comes from outside to break on the door. So you explain cybersecurity in that manner that someone should understand the technical aspect of cybersecurity. So that's one aspect. The second one, which has to be included in the design of the program, is to look at the soft skills. And it's the soft skills are cross-cutting, not only on cybersecurity. So those should also be part of the program. The other one that should be incorporated in the program for the rural is to look at the issue of mentors. Should be maybe girls should be paired with other mentors to say, okay, you'll be mentoring this girl from say primary up to say tertiary education. So through that journey, someone actually reaches the university and then gets employed through one person, and that person would also go back to the same community and also tell a story about how actually she moved. That's another aspect that should be included in the, and there should also be a deliberate program to have engagements. Like you have women who are very good in tech. There has to be actually a point where they have to go to communities. And I know we have got several community technical colleges in Malawi, about 16 from what I can remember. These community colleges are actually where you can actually organize groups and say, okay, this time around we'll have a woman who's actually an expert in cybersecurity who have to speak to you on how she actually moved from one level to actually the other level. So that would also be another way of encouraging the women and the young men. Of course, we don't have to forget the men. So the last one is the career support. This is exactly what I do, whereby after they finish university, or you take them through to work with you, you give them projects, you give them timelines, and they'll actually be working on projects, and in such doing they do gain skills. So those 5 aspects have to be incorporated in the design. So the design should be specific to the rural. I know there are already infrastructures out there. For Makra, you have telecenters, and this Ministry of Labor, they have these community colleges, and you can leverage on them. Like I was thinking, like today, to say this conference, at least they could have actually had beamed somewhere in the room, in the community colleges where you have internet and all that, and they just see us speaking like the way we are doing that right now. So I was thinking that probably next time we should probably incorporate the communities through the community college, technical colleges, and even telecenters where they sit together and they listen and even they speak. So I think that should be incorporated in the design. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Wezi, for that insight, and also that pointer. I'm pretty sure it's been taken note of for the next time that we're on we're doing this conference. Now I'm going to go to the final set of the questions, just to keep time. I know there is so much that we could talk about when it comes to mentorship, but let me come to you, Clara. Can you hear us, Clara?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. Can you just give us in just a few minutes, in just a minute or two, what are your respective, or what is your organization, let me say, doing to support women in cyber security, and how can capacity building efforts make space for mentoring women? Um, Not just through funding programs, but intentional representation and visibility.
Yeah, I will be very brief because I'm aware of the time constraints today. So, of course, I will mention very briefly the Bicc Fellowship, which addresses the pressing need for greater representation of women in UN negotiations on cyberspace. So, by ensuring the participation of women diplomats, cybersecurity professionals, especially from developing and underrepresented countries, this program that I lead contributes to more inclusive and equitable decision-making at the OEWG and AHC processes at the UN. To achieve this, how we do it, the fellowship provides a comprehensive package, including tailored workshops, online webinars, virtual in-person training, and also direct support for fellows, participation in key UN cyber negotiations, ranging from sponsoring their flights, accommodation, etc. And this is all made possible by generous sponsorship of our multi-donor network covering around 7 governments across the globe. We have supported over 120 women from more than 55 underrepresented countries by offering, again, specific training sessions, visibility, and direct access to international policymaking. We intentionally embed the mentorship element in it by connecting the experienced Bicc fellows with newcomers and also encouraging mentorship within their institutions like ministries of ICTs and CERTs. But the support, as has been mentioned by other panelists, must go beyond funding. We also need intentional visibility, women moderating events, leading negotiations and shaping policy. As stressed, we also need men, their support in this regard. And this kind of representation helps to normalize women's leadership in cybersecurity. So personally, when I draft a session or a conference proposal, I make sure there is a gender and also geographical balance. And that level of intentionality matters as it creates platforms where diverse voices aren't just invited, but they are encouraged and expected. So we are also seeing donors like Germany, Australia, and Canada to support long-term development by offering scholarships, extra courses and certifications, and leadership opportunities to fellows beyond just the core program. And that is the kind of sustained multidimensional support that we need and that we should all collectively strive for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clara. If you were paying attention, you will notice that she has mentioned a couple of the fellowship that they have. There is opportunities there that you could explore, ladies. Certain things that you have to take note of. Quickly, I will also go to
Horace. What are you personally doing? You're a man, so what are you personally doing to support women in cybersecurity in this regard?
All right. There are a number of initiatives that were to support women and girls in the cyber fields. I will just highlight a couple of them for the interest of time. We have a magazine that is called the Herfetech magazine. So this magazine highlights women and girls who are doing amazing fields in various aspects of IT, including cybersecurity. And the whole essence of this magazine is to drive young people to develop interest in the fields of technology. I've seen young people in this room who are in secondary schools. We want to inspire them and encourage them to take up careers in science, technology, engineering and mathematics, because when you take a look at data, for example, I'll quote the International Telecommunication Union data of last year. It highlighted to say that 75% of people who are in the fields of cybersecurity are males as compared to 25% who are the females. So you see that there's a big gap that has to be solved. So through these magazines, we share the stories of mentors or people who have succeeded, especially women in Malawi, so that as these young ones can get those books, those magazines and read, they may get inspired to say, if person A managed to do this, I can also manage to do this. The second thing which we're doing is that if you take a look at the data of Malawi, you're going to notice that 80% of our population resides in the rural villages, which means even if you do these magazines, they won't really have access to them. So what basically we're doing is that we introduced a certain program that was recorded but has not been aired. It's called the Atsiganandi Technology Program, and it's in Chichewa in our vernacular language, so that the target should be those 80% who are in the rural villages. Perhaps if they may have access to listen to the radios, the community radios, they may be able to get inspired in the comfort of their own homes. And then the last thing maybe which I can highlight that we're really doing is that we're trying to mentor young people to be developers, to develop solutions. You may recall from yesterday that we had two girls, ambassadors from Harfetech, who presented the prototype solutions of what they are working on, things that they designed themselves by just having someone tell them to say, you can do this. So in the fields of cybersecurity, not only cybersecurity, but technology in general, because these fields are similar, that's what we're doing generally. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Horace, for that insight. You seem to be doing such a wonderful job, specifically even being inclusive, bringing in the inclusive aspect to it.
I will now come to you, Trapson. How do we make sure mentorship doesn't stop an inspiration? We're not just supposed to inspire people. We need to get things going. Okay, we need these people, they need opportunities for education, they need opportunities for internships and leadership. How can we make sure mentorship doesn't stop at inspiration, but leads to real opportunities for education, internships, and leadership?
Okay, personally, I think we should emphasize on capacity building, because let's say you get someone, you connect someone to a job, but they don't possess those technical skills. It's easier for them to lose the job. So for me, I emphasize on capacity building, and also personally, I connect my mentees to scholarship opportunities outside Malawi, and I also connect them to free online courses so that they can improve their understanding in any field, you name it, whether cybersecurity or other fields. Yeah, so, and I also emphasize on soft skills. For example, leadership. Because we don't just need girls, we don't just need so many girls in cybersecurity, but we need girls or women leading cybersecurity. So I also emphasize on soft skills. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much,
Trapson. Wendy, would you have anything to add on to what Trapson has said, just to
conclude?
Yes, thank you very much. The other thing that I would encourage the girls, apart from the inspiration which they get from the speeches which people speak about their progress and all that, is for themselves to have that ownership, to say, I can do it, to have that faith, to say, okay, I'll have to start this, though it's a jungle, but I'll still have to go for it. So like they have to be risk takers. So you have to get into something that probably you know that it's very difficult, but through research, collaboration, you'd be able to go through. So that's what I would say. Apart from just that, they have to have themselves have that faith.
All right, thank you so much, Wezi. I would like to thank my panelists here for just all of the insight and the honesty and the inspiration that they have shared with us today. I know we've heard a lot of words like intentional and
strategy and all of that. I really hope that by the time that we're leaving this place, get to have a mentor. There are amazing women in this room that are doing amazing things, and I know that you've seen a couple of them upstage. By the time you're leaving, girls, now this is specifically to the girls, by the time you're leaving this place, by the time we're finishing the conference tomorrow, be sure to clock someone and get them to mentor you through whatever it is that you want to do with your career when it comes to career-wise. Thank you so much, Trapson, Wezi, and Horace, and also Clara, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. A hand for my panelists.
Thank you.
So before I go, I created, I have a short story about my uncle. So I would love if all of you could pay attention to it. Okay. In my village, I had an uncle who had no arms. But the whole village knew him as a heavy drinker. So he would always use a straw to sip his beers. So this other day, he got so drunk that he staggered on his way back home till he fell into an incomplete septic tank, which was under construction. So after some time, we heard someone crying for help. Me and my friends rushed to the septic tank just to realize that it was my uncle. Then me and my friends threw him a rope, and we told him, grab onto the rope. My uncle looked at me and was like, have you forgotten that I don't have arms? So I just told him, then bite the rope and grab onto it. So he did as I instructed him to do so. So we started pulling him out of a septic tank. Just after his head had emerged on top of the septic tank, there was a certain beautiful girl from the village passing by. So my uncle started looking at the beautiful girl while holding on to the rope like this. So the beautiful girl just looked at my uncle and said, hi. So my uncle couldn't resist the hi from the beautiful girl. Then he responded, hi, letting go of the rope. So this story may sound funny, but it carries a powerful lesson. The uncle falling into the septic tank represents failure or life's challenges. When me and my friends threw him the rope, that was his second chance. An opportunity to rise again. All he had to do was stay focused and hold on tightly until he was safe. But just as he was about to succeed, he got distracted by something temporary. A beautiful girl meeting him, and let go of the rope in that single moment. He lost everything and fell back to where he started. This shows that life, we often fail not because we don't have opportunities, but because we lack focus and sacrifice. To achieve our goals, we must let go of bad habits and distractions that pull us down. We must hold onto the rope, the things that move us up and forward towards our goals, no matter what tries to tempt us. It also reminds us that life gives a second chance, but those chances don't last forever. If we get another opportunity after failing, we must stay committed and focused until we have fully achieved what we are looking for. Success requires focus, sacrifice, and the discipline to ignore distractions until we are completely out of the tank. Thank you.
Thank you, Chapson, for the encouraging story.
Allow me to recognize Justice Zwane Dava, who is among us. Welcome. Now we are going to break. So this break is meant for those taking part in the Catch the Flag competition. So those of us that registered, may we go into the next room so that we can take part in this competition. Remember, the winner is going to have the opportunity to intern for MACRA, and the first 3 winners are going to go away with MiFis from Airtel. So Airtel is also giving MiFis towards the winners, the first 3. So please give it your all.
Good luck to everybody taking part.
As the ladies are going out, may I ask a representative from Airtel? They want to give a MiFi to our lovely young lady who did the poem in the morning to encourage
More of us to step up.
Incentives, right, ladies? Incentives. So, Airtel, a representative, ladies, as you are going out, please do so quietly. The next room, that's where they're doing the competition.
May I have the young girl that did our poem in the morning to please come up front? Is she around? Photos, please, for this lovely moment. I'm sure she'll remember this. May we please go up the stage and may we wait for a photo. Her poem was very lovely, wasn't it? Thank you so much for taking that bold step to come and showcase your talent. May I ask Mike, are you good to go? All right. Our next presenter is Mike.
Okay, good afternoon. Can I get some energy? I was told Malawian people are energetic, so can I get the energy I was promised? Okay, so to first start off, my name is Mike Ngandu. Like earlier alluded to in the presentation in the morning, for this particular afternoon, I will be having a conversation with yourselves. The conversation is about cybersecurity, the challenges, community building, and effective reporting in cybersecurity. So this is pretty much what I'll be speaking into this particular afternoon with yourselves. To begin with, like earlier mentioned, I'm Mike Ngandu. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I work for the Central Bank of Zambia. I hold a master's degree in the field and a bachelor's in the field. And I have close to a decade of experience in the field, and I hold multiple certifications in cybersecurity, including ethical hacking, vulnerability and penetration testing, digital forensics, etc., just to mention a few. And for this particular afternoon, like Ayla alluded to, I will be speaking into what cybersecurity is, the global cybersecurity landscape, and the landscape in Africa to drill it down. And I'll also be looking into the challenges that we're currently facing in Africa and the world at large. That also includes the current emerging threats. And I'll also be looking into the pillars of community building as well as effective reporting. So to start off, I will start off with a question. What is cybersecurity? And pardon me, I have a giveaway. I have 3 giveaways. I'm giving away to complement what Airtel has done. Airtel just gave away a MiFi. I will be giving away data. I'll be giving away data with, and pardon me, the conversion rates. I'll be giving away data worth 7,600 Malawian kwacha. I'm not sure how much that is. So I'll be giving that away to 3 people. So I just want 3 people to attempt because we're together. Like I said, this is a conversation with the rest of you guys. So I just want 3 people, 3 hands, by a show of hands, to tell me what cybersecurity is. And then I'll be giving away to the 3 people. So the first hand, I don't know if we can get a mic around. The first hand is there, the lady in white. Okay, so she's just going to tell us what she thinks cybersecurity is in her own words. There are no wrong answers.
Okay, so cybersecurity is the practice of protecting networks, data, applications from cyber attacks.
Thank you very much. Can we get another person to try? The lady in blue at the beginning was the second. Yes, the first one.
Okay. Cybersecurity is the protection of networks,
data, and systems from digital attacks.
Okay, thank you very much. And there was a lady at the far end. She was the other one.
Alright, so to me, I feel like cybersecurity, these are systems that are set to protect data security. And I mean to protect data, information, and other systems that hold information which is sensitive.
Okay, thank you very much. That's 3 people. One more. You can have one last person. Yeah, there.
What I think cybersecurity is it's the protection of computer systems, data, and networks from unauthorized users, theft, and damage.
Thank you very much. That is very impressive. Can we clap for the lady? Okay, so this is not to say that everyone else's answers are wrong, but I like the addition. She went further on to not only speak into threats. What is it that these threats aim to do? So I will be giving away, I said, 7,600 worth of data to 4 people. I will need the help of the organizers just taking note of the people. Then after the presentation, I can happy to give away the data. Thank you very much. So what exactly is cybersecurity? And don't get me wrong, not to erase your answers are very much correct. But comprehensively, what NIST has done is that it has covered all aspects of cybersecurity and broken it down to really drill it down to understand what exactly cybersecurity is. So the National Institute for Standards and Technology has defined cybersecurity as 1, the protection of damage, 2, the protection of
electronic communication systems, electronic communication services, wire communications, and electronic communications, including information content therein to ensure availability, integrity, authentication, confidentiality, and non-repudiation. So that is how NIST have comprehensively defined cybersecurity. So if you take note, NIST have pretty much combined all the answers that the beautiful ladies in here gave together, and then that's how they are defining cybersecurity. So what I'm picking up from this is that cybersecurity deals with three things: integrity, confidentiality, and availability. Integrity, one, we need to ensure that information that is passed on or stored in the digital system is trustworthy. When you save your names on Facebook, save your contact details, or for example, you save your bank details, when you wake up tomorrow in the morning, you need to ensure that your names are exactly how you saved them. No one should change them. So it needs to have some certain level of integrity. Confidentiality, in the sense that when you save your date of birth, your password, your username to all sorts of platforms, banking platforms and everywhere else, you need to ensure that that information stays confidential. The lady yesterday from the Data Protection Act Commission spoke into what is personal identifiable information. From your date of birth, your date of birth, your national ID, etc. All those things are personal identifiable information. And we do save these things in digital platforms. We do save these things on Facebook. We did save these things on banking applications, on mobile money registrations. So this information that is personal identifiable should not be available to anyone that shouldn't have access to them. Because what that insinuates is, if they have access to those things, is that they can easily reset your password. They can do so much once they have your personal identifiable information. So cybersecurity ensures that there's confidentiality. Availability, you need to ensure that, if you're a network provider, if you're a bank, you need to ensure that when someone wants to withdraw their money that they kept with you, they want to transact it online or withdraw, you should be available 24/7 to the right users. If you have a digital application, a mobile application, and it's keeping people's data and it's available to the public, you need to ensure that it's available as and whenever it's needed. Then to go on to non-repudiation, when you save something, when you say something, for example, you type something on Facebook, what cybersecurity looks to do is that you shouldn't be able to deny that I'm the one who posted this. Or when you send an email, you shouldn't be able to say that I'm not the one who wrote this particular email. That's what cybersecurity looks into when we speak into non-repudiation. So I'll quickly go over the following slides, and then we're later on going to have a session just for questions. So quickly to go onto the slides. Why is cybersecurity important? I have defined why cybersecurity is important. So why cybersecurity is important is that in the modern world, everything is digital. We're using computers. And that in a sense gives threat actors a landscape that is open for us to be prone to vulnerabilities, and it gives leeway for threat actors to be able to attack us. Someone who's in India can easily have access to your money. Someone who's in India can easily have access to your information, emails that you're sending around, and they can either get that information, sell it on the dark web, or use it to harm you. So the modern world is interconnected now. So that's why cybersecurity is important, to help us protect ourselves in this interconnected world. Cybersecurity gives us methods that we can use to protect ourselves. So think of it as a pillar that defines from the theoretical part of it to frameworks, from frameworks to tools that you're actually supposed to defend yourselves. So cybersecurity gives a building block and all measures or means that you can use to defend yourself in this interconnected digital system. Lastly, the world, like I earlier mentioned, people are no longer going physically with money to buy things. People in hospitals, you name it, everywhere else, everything is digital. So we cannot afford to not have cybersecurity in this world that has become so digitalized. So the more digitalized that has become, the more we need cybersecurity. More financial transactions that are going online, people are using money, digital cash a lot, so we need cybersecurity. With such things that have come in place, we need cybersecurity. So now to quickly just run through the global threat landscape, how is it that the world is faring with these emerging threats that we have? So if you can see on this slide, what I'm just denoting is some of the online threats and statistics that I got from Gartner, IMF, as well as SentinelOne, which is a tool provider, as well as IBM. So according to Gartner, they're saying that since 2024, the cyber skills gap has increased, and we're seeing that there's a shortage of about 4 million cybersecurity professionals that are needed to match the kind of landscape that we have now. Because if you can see with those flags, there's been an increase, a skyrocket in cyber threats. So to match these cyber threats against the professionals that we have, we need about 4.2 million to match the gap. So you see, when I earlier mentioned in the morning to iterate that if we only focus with cybersecurity and say only men are important in cybersecurity, then we're only employing half of the talent pool. So we cannot ignore the other half. We need just as much the other half to fill up that 8 million that Gartner is just mentioning. And the IMF is saying that by 2027, cybersecurity will cost the world $23 trillion US. That's how much it will cost the world. Organizations that will be hacked, that will lose money because of cybersecurity, organizations that will have their data encrypted, that will be paying threat actors to unlock their data, all that summed up together, the IMF are projecting that by 2027, the world will lose 23 trillion to cyber attacks. Phishing attacks as well have increased according to Sentinel-1, and this is because AI has come into play now, and we have AI-driven attacks. And then IBM are saying that the average cost of cyber attacks as of 2024 was about 4.88 million, and this has increased, and we're seeing continuous increase. So you can see how sophisticated the landscape has become and how we are in short of cybersecurity professionals, which is why we're here, which is why MACRA has brought up these professionals in this conference to just encourage you and encourage females to join cybersecurity so that we can together build a stronger and resilient skills gap. So what are these emerging threats that have caused that sophistication in the threat landscape that I just spoke into? So to speak into the emerging threats that has caused this sophistication in the landscape, we've got ransomware as a service, we've got phishing and social engineering, IoT, chain and vulnerability. We also have AI sophisticated attacks. So ransomware as a service, we now have organizations in the world, around the world, that are just, their job is just to sit, they open a company, and what they do is that they encrypt organizations' data. They find an organization is vulnerable, they encrypt your data, you call them, they even have a service desk. Actually, I was surprised when I was listening into a conversation between an organization that was hacked, and they called this threat actor, said, "Hello, welcome to Conti ransomware, you're through to the service desk." They have hacked you and your data is encrypted. They leave a phone number and an email so that you can reach out to them. They pick up politely and ask what your organization is and what you need. You tell them your organization, they tell you, okay, yes, we have successfully encrypted your data. It's not their data, it's your data. They have hacked you. They have a service desk and they're willing to have a conversation with you so that you can pay money and have your data back. That's how crazy it is now. So we have ransomware as a service, and it's everywhere around the world. This is a real thing that is going on. Phishing attacks, people continue being phished, and we have attacks that, with the coming in of IoT, IoT is a real thing now. We have smart printers, smart TVs, smart air conditioning, smart stoves. Everything is smart now. We have what is known as Internet of Things. So imagine now, your entire house is smart, your doors are smart. For you to unlock your doors, it's a pin, everything is smart. So now imagine a threat actor holds you ransom in your own house, and they hack your house, and then you're not able to use all the appliances in your house, and they want you to pay a ransom. So this is a real thing, something that is now going on. And now we have artificial intelligence. People are no longer using just their intelligence, but they've embedded AI in their attacks. So this is also another emerging factor that has caused serious havoc. So after looking into these emerging threats, they are just a piece in the complexity of cybersecurity for organizations that have the cybersecurity budget, that are able to afford this and overcome this. So this is pretty much the complexity and how complex the threat landscape has become. So to bring it home now, what is it, how is our landscape looking exactly, aside from the global? So these are just some of the statistics of the top countries that are targeted, and some of the countries where fraud has increased, some of the countries where some of those emerging threats I spoke into are spanning. Then to speak into organizations across different regions that are projected to spend those kind of amounts that I just spoke into, and ratings by Gartner. We have high peak organizations that are high peak areas or regions in Africa that are really being targeted according to Gartner and according to Sentinel. These are some of the peak areas that are expected to be attacked. And these are some of the notable attacks that yourselves have seen and that we've read. Recently, we had an attack on Namibia, Namibia's Paratus. Paratus, this is an internet provider in Paratus. We also had a hack in Kenya, and we've seen the rise in Anonymous Sudan, and Anonymous Sudan is pretty much hacking everyone in Africa now. They are a serious threat. And then we've got these hacks that are emerging in Cameroon, a cyber attack that targeted this energy supply company in Cameroon. So these are some of the threat landscapes. So now to understand, why is it that Africa has now become a target? Why is it that suddenly we're seeing a lot of hackers target Africa? The answer is simple. Data is the new gold. And Africa is only waking up now to start putting their data online. Africa is going through what is known as digital transformation and digitalization. So people and organizations are stopping to use papers, and they want to type everything and store that in computers. So with that comes, people are no longer physically going to rob, but they want to use computers to steal the data that you're putting on those computers, so they can use that information against you. So this is why Africa has been a target, because it's only at inception with regards to digitalization and digital transformation. People are only moving to the cloud now. So cyber threat actors have realized that, okay, Africans are only starting to put their things in place now. That means that they have possibly ignored cybersecurity, and they're just developing apps, not trying to make apps look beautiful. They're just developing systems, trying to make systems look beautiful, because as Africans, our number one priority now is not to protect ourselves, right? By human nature, this is how IT specialists operate. They want to make things work. If it's a telco, at inception, what they want to do is that they want person A to be able to call person C. If that works, great. They want person A to be able to send an email to person B. If that works, that's fine. That's our number one priority as Africa right now. We just want to make sure that things are digital and people are not queuing up. Security is least of our concerns, and threat actors have realized that. So this is why we are targeted as Africa. So what are exactly the challenges that we're facing in Africa? So you can see some of these countries, the others in blue and others in deep blue. The ones in deep blue are the ones who have had their acts passed in parliament, signed, and they're actually enacted right now. So we've got a few countries only in Africa who have their Data Protection Act, their Cyber Crimes Act, and all acts that have to do with cybersecurity. Only a few countries in Africa. You could literally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, close to 10, thereabout. The rest that are in a lighter shade of blue, these have only drafted them and they are still being debated upon in parliament. The rest have nothing. So if you hack someone in the rest of these parts of Africa, if someone is hacked, there is no law that explicitly says you will go to jail for doing such and such is prohibited. So this is how far we are with regards to these acts as well as legislation in general. So if we can wake up and ensure that legislation is enacted, this would also be a great help. And this is one of the major challenges that we're currently facing in Africa. And to address those challenges and the constraints, these are some of the things. As you can see, despite the rising loads and challenges, countries in Africa are lacking, and these are the areas in which they are lacking. We can only see only 30% have an incident reporting system, and only 28% use case management systems. Only 19% have cyber threat intelligence databases, and only 29% have digital evidence repository. These may look like they're just words, but I kid you not, you can interact and try to ask people from across countries and ask them, do you have a platform where you can say this is a repository of people who were hacked? You can actively just go there and see people who were hacked, how were they hacked, who hacked them, and what caused the hack, the kind of vulnerability. That kind of repository that keeps that data. African countries, only a few have such repositories, and then only a few keep digital evidence. So we're quite far, and these are the challenges that we are currently facing as Africa. And if these are addressed, that will help us a great deal. The other emerging threats, I've spoken to emerging threats. The other emerging threats, and one other interesting thing that recently happened, are the fraudsters that are using, I spoke of AI. So people are now using artificial intelligence. Recently, I'm sure most of you saw this, fraudsters used AI to impersonate the African Union chief, Mr. Mosafa. So what happened is that the threat actors used AI to mimic his voice. So AI has this thing where you can continuously feed it someone's voice, iteratively, and it's going to pick up exactly how that person sounds, and then use that voice in the background to make a phone call to AU members calling for an emergency meeting. But the man literally made no such calls to call for an emergency meeting. So if people are trying to kidnap them, you see how alarming and concerning this has become. So there's these kind of emerging threats. So the other challenges that we're facing in Africa are cross-border cooperation and intelligence sharing platforms. We as African countries do not have platforms where I spoke into repositories where data is kept, digital evidence, threat intelligence sources. As African countries, there is no proper cross-border information sharing. Here in Malawi, we were hacked. This is how they hacked us. So be careful. There in Zambia, they might hack you the same way. That way we're protecting ourselves. Such platforms are not in place yet, which is why we're facing some of these challenges. And to quickly go over the next slide, the other barriers are forums and conferences like this one. I kid you not, these are quite important and they're eye-opening. Someone comes from Kenya, they come and share exactly what happens in Kenya, what they think cybersecurity is in Kenya. Someone comes from Uganda, they come to Malawi and share exactly what they know about cybersecurity and how they're protecting themselves. Like that, we collaborate and we work together, a better digital ecosystem. So how is it that we can build a community in cybersecurity? To list a few, education and awareness. This is another platform of education that we can use. Conferences, create awareness programs, mentorship. The gentleman that were seated in front spoke into mentorship, why that is important, and how it can help us in cybersecurity. Networking platforms, people can network on LinkedIn, social media platforms, to just network, know who's who, what they know about cybersecurity, ask for mentorship. So these are some of the things that we can use to build the pillars. Otherwise, this is another eye view of how complex this has become and the pillars that make up cybersecurity and the industry. So from academics to the industry, this creates our pipeline for cybersecurity. So in academics, we have things like research development, internship program, curriculum development. All these must be centered on cybersecurity. And then employers as well, their job creation, training initiatives, as well as partnerships. All this fused together, embedded together, creates our cybersecurity pipeline. So these parameters are what define the kind of cybersecurity professionals we have at the end of the day, the kind of cybersecurity professionals we have at the end of the day. So practicing effective reporting. So what is effective reporting? So a cyber incident detected, there's an alert, and if it's not reported, it's as good as not detected, right? So there comes in the aspect of reporting. early detection and response should always equate to reporting. So timely reporting allows for quicker containment and mitigation. Once an incident has been detected and it's been reported, it will allow for specialists to analyze that incident, understand where exactly it came from, and then they know how to prevent it and how to stop it. Threat intelligence as well. Reporting is important in the sense that it creates a platform where people can share intelligence and a pool for intel. If this bank has been hacked, they report it to the regulators, MACRA. Hey, we've been hacked here. This is how they hacked us. They'll report the next bank. Hey, do you by any chance have this kind of vulnerability? If you do, please look out. Threat actors are after this. Reporting is not a sign of weakness. It's actually power. That way you defeat the threat actor. It also, reporting builds accountability and trust. Once you come out and say, hey, our users, we've been hacked, please change your passwords, be on the lookout for suspicious transactions, report those suspicious transactions to us, users would then trust you and say, these people, when they were hacked, they said, they didn't really just say that our systems are down. No, they look out for us. Because what happens is, if I get a hold of your passwords, I'm a hacker, I get a hold of your passwords that you use for the bank. I'll try these passwords that I have for your other platforms. If they work, I win on both sides. I have your password for your bank, I have your password for everywhere else. Because, believe it or not, I kid you not, I would say, dare I say 75% of the people in here use one password for everywhere. Huh? Let's pick out an individual who's going to help us log into different systems that they have or different platforms, and they're using different passwords. Dare I say 75% of the people in here. So what reporting does is that if you report that we've been hacked and you tell your users, you alert them, hey, change your passwords, we've been hacked. In case you see any weird transactions, yeah, we were hacked, let us know so that we can refund you the money. What does that do? It creates trust and resilience. It also incites what is known as data for policy and investment. So incident data informs policy decisions as well as resource allocation for cybersecurity. If they've been hacked, people that are allocating resources and funds will know that, okay, there's need for more funds this side. That's what reporting does. So effective reporting is important. This is what it is, and that's why it's important. So quickly to just run through the best practices for reporting. Firstly, establish and define what a report is. Set clear timelines and timeframes for reporting. When an incident happens today, when are we supposed to report? How long do we have to report an incident? What is it exactly that we're going to report? Implement user-friendly systems, systems that are easy to report, systems that are easy to pick out logs or everything else that you want to report. Provide comprehensive training. There's training for people that are supposed to be doing the reports so that they have an understanding of what to report, when to report, how to report. Foster a culture of transparency and trust. I emphasized on this point, reporting is a source of trust and transparency. Reporting equates trust and transparency. Maintain clear communication channels. Have a channel of where these reports must be sent to, because reports are also confidential. They shouldn't just be available. When defining cybersecurity, we spoke into what is known as confidentiality, element of confidentiality in cybersecurity. So they shouldn't just be available to anyone yet. So as you're reporting, clear channels that are secure and confidential. Then lastly, what to report and how to report. There's contacts for MACRA, where you can report, and people that are responsible for what kind of reporting and how exactly you're reporting to MACRA. Is it a phishing you're reporting? Is it malware infection that you're reporting? Is it a data breach that you're reporting? Is it online fraud? Is it harassment or cyberbullying? These parameters could really help. If you understand what these parameters are, makes it easier for the officers at MACRA to comprehensively understand what is it that you're reporting. Thereafter, they can easily track it and assist you better if you understand exactly what you're reporting. Reporting channels, the national set, law enforcement, and financial institutions. The Reserve Bank of Malawi, if you're a bank, you've been hacked, you're a bank, you know there's an issue, you report to the financial institution that regulates you, which is the Reserve Bank of Malawi, so that they understand that there's a threat out there in the environment, there's a threat out there on the landscape, and then they advise other banks. I'm trusting that the Reserve Bank of Malawi acts as an advisory to other banks to understand what exactly is happening and how they can help out other banks. So these are the parameters on how to report and who to report to in a nutshell. I will be making this presentation available through Macra. They'll share so that people can go through and have an appreciation of it. And lastly, I'll say the cybersecurity industry must share information, work together to help responders in the fight. We must work together, share information. That's the only way we can help responders in the fight. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take on any questions. Feel free to scan the QR code. That will take you to my LinkedIn, and then we can connect from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mike. Maybe I'll take only two. I have not heard the whole day. I haven't heard from the audience. So I want to be very inclusive. I see a hand all the way at the back. Any other takers? And one here. So I see two. Do we have a mic at the back? And then give this young lady over here another mic.
All right. Thank you very much. My name is Edith Rambi. My question to you, sir, is regarding on the challenges. You haven't mentioned about the cost of cyber solutions. I'm pretty sure you know here in Malawi, even in Africa, for institutions to invest on cyber solutions is very costly, let alone on individual. I know if anyone in this room has cyber solutions in their mobile phones, most of us, we use open source applications. As long as we download on File, App Store, we are good to go. And when we use things like Facebook, TikTok, you can get some of the ads and they just pop up, you can't avoid them. What would be your advice on the cyber solutions on the endpoint, email, let alone firewalls at organization level? Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. What I'm picking up from the young lady's question, I stand to be corrected. What I'm picking up from the young lady's question is the cost of cybersecurity. Not everyone can afford it, and those that can't afford it, what can they do? I hope that's correct. So cybersecurity is expensive, but being hacked is more expensive. So imagine you're a bank, you have money that you've kept for people, and all that money has been locked up. Your profits and the savings of other people and everyone else, all of it locked up, or you spend part of it in buying an expensive solution. The choice at the end of the day becomes yours. So as expensive as it is, being hacked, a cyber breach is more expensive. And to speak into the people that can afford cybersecurity, as well as online platforms, the use of cybersecurity on online platforms. With TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or your Twitter, you can start with the basics. The basics being online security. Don't overshare your location, or at least share it after you leave the place. Do not overshare your personal identifiable information, because everyone has access to it. Your date of birth, where you stay, your national ID details. Avoid sharing such things, and ensure that your password stays to yourself. It's confidential. These social media platforms have got ways in which you can lock your account and ensure that it's private. it's only accessed by your friends. Only your friends can see your things. So basic online etiquettes if you can't afford cybersecurity, and basic online etiquettes for just online users. I hope that answers the young lady's question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yeo Chirwa from Don Bosco Technical Institute. My question is, what are the cybersecurity code of ethics? And if you may, what are the vulnerabilities that render organizations or individuals to these cyber attacks or breaches?
Okay, thank you very much. That is quite an academic question from the academic young lady. Okay, so vulnerabilities are quite many. For your knowledge, there is a repository where you can just check the kind of vulnerabilities that are affecting softwares. So softwares, as you know, to put it in layman's, softwares, as you know, are written by code. There's different kinds of code. There's Python, PHP, Java, all that code, right? There's a repository where vulnerabilities for each specific code is kept. So that's a CSV repository. So you can look that up, and then on that CSV platform, you can check the various vulnerabilities that are available, their patches, how you can fix those vulnerabilities, and the current versions of the code that they are, or the programming languages that they are affecting. If it's Java 9.2, there's a vulnerability on Java 9.2. This is what it's affecting. It's affecting, is it remote shell? It's affecting code execution. It's prone to denial of service attacks. So what that repository does is that it lists all the kinds of vulnerabilities. I can't master them in my head, and professionals created that repository so that you and I can go there and know if my mobile application is written in Java, C#, C#, what could it be vulnerable to today? If you go on that platform, and then it will tell you how you can patch up that kind of vulnerability. Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe that was the last question. Thank you very much.
We are running late on time, so I'll allow Mike to take his seat, but he's still around. So you can always meet him and ask these questions. I'm sure Mike is still around. I come with exciting news, so I'm here with more exciting news. But before I get to that, how many of us, maybe a show of hands, if you received an email from your bank that you've received 2 million and should click a link to access that money, how many of us would immediately click on that link? And how many of us would maybe go back and try to see the email address that this link is coming from? So ask yourself, within yourself, do you need an extra cybersecurity workshop? Because if you click that link, most likely maybe you'd have been hacked. So, food for thought, ladies. First, we are having a cocktail in the evening from 6:30 at the main foyer. You are all invited. So after the sessions this afternoon, we are going to go to the main foyer for a cocktail from 6:30. Second, I hope we are creating those videos that I had asked earlier, where you're supposed to follow Airtel and follow Macra, and upload a video of yourself creating a strong password in 10 seconds. And encourage people to like, because you yourself is going to win a MiFi, and your people that are liking your posts are also going to win data from Airtel. May I also ask representatives from the following: Mzuni, Unima, Mubas, MAST, MCA, CU, Luana, NASIT, Unilia, Don Bosco, DeYoung, UNICAF, Pentecostal Life University, Exploits, Planta International University, Lake Malawi Anglican University, Malawi Assemblies of God University, and MIJ.
If there are representatives from this, may we please meet by the Airtel stand. Airtel wants to also give these institutions MiFis. So if there are representatives from these institutions, one representative, may we meet by these MiFis are not for individuals, they are for the institution. Just a disclaimer. So I need a representative from each institution so we can meet outside by the Airtel gazebo and we can discuss how best we can give these MiFis to you. With that, we've got 2 more presentations for this afternoon. Mr. Hanania, are you ready? All right, may I please humbly request that he comes up front to give us his presentation. He's from Interpol, so he's going to take us through. A hand, please.
Can we please have his presentation on the screens?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Maybe I should know if we know the protocol of washing hands. Do we know the protocol of washing hands? Can somebody demonstrate to me how we wash hands when you want to eat? Someone just to demonstrate? Maybe some do not know how to wash hands. Can I see someone demonstrating how to wash hands when you want to eat? Yes, sister, stand and demonstrate. Demonstrate. How do you wash hands? Just there. Or maybe side so that others can see you. Ladies and gentlemen, are you seeing what she's doing? Is that difficult? Can you stand up and do that, everyone? Just do that. Demonstrate to me how you can wash your hands. Do that, please. Okay. You know, thank you so much. Some have done, some are still failing. They are learning from others. Okay, you can sit down. Thank you. This has a significance in Africa. In Isuzulu, there is a saying which goes, hands wash each other. Despite how dirty one hand might be, the other one washes the dirtiness. This is what we are doing here, drawing a lot of knowledge from different circles of the world. Hands wash each other. We are there for one another. This world, we are not an island. We stand for each other, helping one another in doing everything that we do. That's why Interpol is there. Interpol is an institution which I want to show you, has a lot of symbols. If it was, you know, sometimes I also like to demonstrate things because sometimes when you just say, people do not understand what you are talking about. I would have asked some people to hold this so that they can see the symbol which is here. I have a lot of, I have few minutes to make a presentation, but I want you to understand what is here. Are you able to see what is here? Thank you so much, ladies, for having that initiative. Show them that. That's the flag for Interpol. This flag, if you see there are a number of symbols. What is visible to you? Something like a cross, maybe you are seeing something like a cross. Are you able to see it? That one is a sword. It has pierced through the world and it is going down. You can see where it has also appeared down there. Are you able to see? The color which is for Interpol, can you say what color is this? It's blue. And you have the map of the world, the globe. Covering it, you see the flowers. Do you see the flowers? Those are the olive flowers. They are symbolic. Thank you so much, ladies. Clap hands for them. So, because I was given 30 minutes for this presentation, but I just want to take it less. Symbolically, Interpol, those symbols which were there, represents the blue color, represents peace, cooperation, and the global nature. The blue color symbolizes peace, cooperation, and the global nature. It also shows calm, neutrality, and the professionalism. The global, which you saw on the center, symbolizes it symbolizes that Interpol is for the global world. Today, you are privileged to know that Interpol has 196 member states globally. 196 member states globally. It means minus Malawi, it will be 195. But because Malawi is a member to Interpol, makes it 196 countries. There's no major country, there's no small country, there's no big country. All countries they hold the same privilege to Interpol. Scales which you saw on that emblem, they represent scales of justice, fairness, and the rule of law. So Interpol emphasizes support in upholding justice by providing investigative support, intelligence, sharing, and coordination. The previous presenter just mentioned that there's a challenge of cooperation among the world in sharing intelligence. Interpol brings in to bring a solution to that. There was a vertical sword. That sword symbolizes police action and authority. The sword which you saw symbolizes police action and authority. It stands also for vigilance, strength, and integrity in enforcing the law. The olive branches which you saw. The olive branches surrounding the emblem represent peace and unity. That quote which is there on my presentation, the safety of women and children is not just a priority. It is a foundation for peace, progress, and prosperity. Those women are crying for the peace and security in the world. Interpol is there to provide that solution for peace and security of women. The world is only going to have peace when they work as a bloc. When people are working as different entities, they cannot achieve what they want. But if they work together, we are going to achieve the peace and the security. So, in my presentation, next slide please. I want to show you how Interpol is connected. You can see all those dots which are showing on the map. It's a network of people who are working day and night in the offices of Interpol, 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days in a year. In those dots which you are seeing, there are offices of Interpol which are called National Central Bureau. Next slide, please. The National Central Bureau has the functions which have been mentioned. So all the offices of Interpol in every country, they are called Interpol National Central Bureau. In Malawi, we have an office for National Central Bureau, which is headquartered at the National Police Headquarters in Area 30, who happens to be headed by myself. I'm the one who is heading that National Central Bureau. So the functions for the Office of Interpol, it is responsible for ensuring that requests for international police cooperation are transmitted to relevant authorities in their countries. sharing of cybercrime intelligence, and circulating modus operandi on cyber crimes. I'm zeroing in on cyber crimes because this meeting is centering on cyber crimes. But I want to show you something that Interpol, as a crime organization, as a police international organization, looks at all the crime areas which you might have ever heard about. I'll give you examples of transnational organized crimes that are there, apart from the cyber crimes. You have ever heard about human trafficking? Human trafficking also is handled by Interpol. You have ever heard about environmental crimes, like wildlife crimes, the pangolin, maybe you hear about pangolin. Interpol handles about that. You have ever heard about drug trafficking? Interpol handles about that. You have ever heard about motor vehicle theft? Interpol handles that. Next slide, please. So, as we talk of today, Interpol internationally in the 196 countries is focusing much on those 6 elements which are there. It is focusing on counterterrorism as one of the crime area which we are fighting. It is focusing on cybercrime, which you have been learning from yesterday. I understand yesterday a colleague who is heading the cybercrime for Malawi Police Service came here and made a presentation. I'll talk something about that. Organized and emerging crimes, a lot of them there. Interpol Financial Crimes and also Anti-Corruption Center, Interpol has that. We handle all those crimes. What is lagging to people is that people do not know where they can find Interpol, how they can contact Interpol, and what Interpol provides. Next slide. Cybercrime intelligence and operation. Let me assure you that among all these crimes which you have been talking about, you have ever heard about the phishing. There are specialized people who have talked about the cyber crimes which people are facing, the bullying, all those malware which they were talking about, malicious IP damage which is happening in the world. Interpol does that. When we are sharing information, that guides us to do the operations. Magla, I want to bring this to your attention, Magla. Currently, we are handling an operation which is called Operation Signature. Operation Signature, it is targeting the malicious damage to IP. Where if you are going to be involved in that, you understand how people can hack, can be protected in the hacking systems, and so forth. So Interpol has experts who handles all those things. Next slide, please. Ladies, victims in the issues of cybercrime, it's yes. You have talked about how people have been exposing maybe pictures of other colleagues, friends, and so forth. There are a lot of exploitation which is happening online. But then as Interpol, what intervention have we done? Or which things that I wanted you to know that Interpol can provide as a service to you? These days, you have a lot of vagacies online where people are tempted to apply maybe secure jobs from the online. If you have such type of things, for example, people are creating emails which they can advertise a job and say maybe there's an employment in these other countries like Oman. You have ever heard about employment in Dubai and so forth. What we have been meeting as Interpol in Malawi, people are coming to our office to say, give us clearances, we want to go and work in Oman, work in Turkey, work in America, work in UK, and name it. Without fully understanding who the employer is to you. Without fully understanding who created that email. There are a lot of online jobs people are offered. When they apply, they are given a blue light, given everything else. They can even help them, assist them to apply for visa. But then, when they go and secure the job, they start to get exploitation. We have a lot of examples on the online platform of Interpol, where ladies are getting exploited, they are getting problems from the employers. So, for example, we are giving this example there. The scammers who pretend to be modeling agents or recruiters offering fake job opportunities, asking girls to send inappropriate images or travel to unsafe places. These are realities in Malawi. They are happening. Some of our sisters, our ladies, our friends have made this type of cyber online exploitation. If you meet such a thing that your sister maybe has gone outside of Malawi, and is telling you that is getting exploited there, we have an office at Area 30, the NCB, the Interpol office for Malawi, to provide some solutions to you. Because among the 196 countries, we have a direct contact which we reach out to these countries and tell them about the fate of our people as Malawi. If you come to our office, just at a click of a button, we'll be able to speak to people in UK. We'll be able to speak to people in Canada. We'll be able to speak to people in South Africa and everywhere you may say. These are systems which are protected, and in fact, if you would ask the engineer there, he would tell you that the system of Interpol is one of the hardest systems in the world, which even hackers fail to hack it. So, the information which we send and ask, another slide please. The information which we send to other countries, like sharing information through our platform, which we call the I-247 platform for communication in Interpol. I need a slide here. We have the system which we refer to. That system of I-247 has the 19 databases which keep the information for every crime area that you look for. I would give an example of wanted and suspected persons, that which I've put in red. The next slide is going to show you the notices that we have in Interpol. It is called red notice. The red notice, it is a notice which informs the 196 countries about the people who are wanted somewhere else. You know, Malawi has been a victim of people who have committed crimes outside Malawi, from outside the continent of Africa. They come to our continent, they come to Malawi, and find comfort because we call ourselves the home heart of Africa. They have committed crimes in Canada, they have committed sexual exploitation in India, and they want to do business in Malawi. Do you think our girls, our women are going to be spared? Maybe you heard about an issue of a Chinese who was taking some nudes from the girl somewhere in the remote area of Lilongwe. Did you hear about that? Those are the issues which we are having because of these people who are coming unchecked through the Interpol databases. If you are here, you are running an institution where you clear people for businesses, for example. You want to clear an officer to establish his business in Malawi. Before you clear them to do their businesses, come to Interpol. We'll search their passport in that database, where we'll see if that person has ever been reported somewhere to have committed a crime. So, I said these databases are about 19. I've only mentioned about one of the wanted. There's another one which is stolen motor vehicles. If you have a car, if you have ever bought a car, you want to buy a car, and you are not sure whether that motor vehicle is clean or not, we have that database which has all the motor vehicles which were made in this world. As long as that car was made in the countries, about 196 countries, the database is there in the Interpol. Maybe it's only a lack of knowledge that people do not know that they can buy a car which is referred to be a hot car. You should not be victims of the same. We have an office which can search motor vehicles for you. Another database which is there in Interpol is about the child sexual exploitation. And this one includes the victim identification support for ladies who are getting exploited in this world. Namibia recently is the leading country which has done very well in the database of children and women sexual exploitation. In here is where you find people who promote issues of pornography, for example. They create their apps so that maybe they can create a game app on the internet. And your children are playing with your phone. They want to play games on the phone. They would be going across such type of nudes from the these pictures which they see on the games. That's a way how people start to brainstorm them, and then the children learn evil things through that. Through these databases, we are able to identify fugitives in the world. If a person has committed a crime somewhere else, through the nominal information that person has, the travel documents that they have, we are able to trace the criminal record of someone else. We do it very well with them. This year, we are establishing what we call the I-247 expansion in all the entry ports of Malawi, in the borders like Mchinji border, Sopo border, Mwanza border, Deza border. We have officers for Interpol who will be screening all people coming in and going outside. They are using the road. And at the airport, if they are traveling by the airline. Next slide, please. We have these notices that we use when sharing information. I'll talk about one which I mentioned about the red notice. Because of time, we have nine notices that Interpol produces when we want to share information to achieve the problem which our colleague mentioned earlier on. How do we share information? The I-247 communication system works 24 hours, 7 days a week, sharing this information. So let me go to the paper notice. The paper notice, it is a notice that is shared as a carrier, a channel for modus operandi. How a crime is committed. Ladies and girls, women, children are victims of a lot of issues on the internet, and Interpol provides a way on how we can share that information. I'll give you a case study of what happened here in Malawi in 2023, and we were able to track that through paper notice. Next slide. Do you see these dresses there? Maybe those who are close are able to differentiate the dresses, and they are able to see what is seen on the dresses. This is an issue which happened here in Malawi. There's a captain there on the far right for me, on your far right, left, and there's another captain there. These clothes were made in Kenya. And some lady was doing an online business of purchasing clothes to be sold in Malawi. So, you know, when it is organized crimes, because these most of the time are organized crimes, where there's a syndicate of people who are involved in the crime to be committed. This was a syndicate of drug trafficking, but it happened through an online purchase of goods. So there was a drug trafficker, a Malawian, who was in Kenya. And these people had a plan to bring these clothes, to bring heroin to Malawi. But how to bring them here, how to import the heroin in Malawi, because it's an offense, they had to devise means and find ways on how they can bring the contraband. So there was someone in Kenya who advertised on social media, I have these clothes which I want to sell. If it is a Malawian, I'm going to reduce so much on order. And then he has someone else in Malawi who is part of the syndicate. He advertises on social media that I'm looking for this type of clothes. I have an order for people in Malawi. And this one is communicating with the drug seller in Kenya. And then because you are freely interacting with these people on, online in social media, somebody innocently goes and applies that, please, I have found a buyer after seeing this one who has advertised that he want to buy. And then that one quickly sends, using the false information of the addresses and so forth. He sends them, put them in the courier to come to Malawi to your name. Let me just give a name of maybe the one who imported online, Agnes Piri. And Agnes Piri is an innocent buyer. But here in Malawi, there's a Grace John who is aware of the syndicate. And then the contraband is coming. Those clothes are packed in the, they are well wrapped, well packed in a carton, and then they are sent as a courier to see through the airport and so forth, DHL. And when they are coming at DHL at the airport, the name it has is about this one, the Piri, and not the Grace John. So the DHL calls this person to come and take the courier. Now, with the information which Interpol has, they tip each other that, oh, there's a drug dealer who is sending this contraband and so forth, and it has come to. We don't just rush and arrest. We wait for these people to complete their transaction. And then we send the people who came yesterday here, go and verify this contraband at the airport. They went there and found the cartons, and they are waiting. These are CIDs who are looking like civilians, waiting for someone to correct the contraband. When this innocent buyer comes to collect and is apprehended to say, you have drugs inside this. Look at how it was concealed. Those clothes have buttons, big buttons. And the heroin was put inside the buttons. And it was made, it was artistically made to look beautiful. And these are over 50 clothes in one carton, over 50 clothes in another carton, all having heroin inside the buttons. And now after checking inside the contraband, they find those buttons which have been uncovered there. Have you seen them? They have heroin there. Who is going to be arrested here? It is the one who went to receive the contraband. Is this person aware of what is happening with the one who advertised in Kenya? No. The one who advertised that he wants to buy this type of clothes in Malawi is also not aware. So, when this has happened to Malawi, Interpol uses paper notice to inform other countries that these criminals also are using this way on social media to trafficking as a crime. Recently, it has happened this year in Mozambique. A container with over 100 cartons full of lollipops. You know those lollipop Swiss? Well covered, well blended, but inside the lollipop, there is mephedrine, another type of drug, where children could just go and grab it and start eating it, yet inside it, there is that type of drug. So, Interpol helps that. Next slide, please. Interpol assists that in sharing the information. In a summary, what Interpol does, it shares criminal information. Interpol does coordination of international police cooperation. Interpol ensures, issues the notices, like I mentioned about the notices. Interpol does capacity building. Interpol provides operational support, like this, the operation which I just talked about, which we are going to extend this to Malawi State. It is there, it is called Operation Synergia. You have to be involved in that one. It is facilitated by Interpol. We do global crime analysis, and we have the secure communication system that does not get hacked by these hackers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be safe report issues which are happening, starting from the social media, whatever cybercrime which is happening around, our office is there to help you. If you are not sure of a company which wants to employ you outside Malawi, our office is there to help you, and we are going to clarify to you how you can securely get a job outside and not just apply online without verifying the authenticity of those job providers outside Malawi. Another slide, please. Together for a safer world, Interpol unites and uniting global efforts against crime. We are strengthening international cooperation. To do this in Malawi, we have embarked on an I-247 expansion. Those 19 databases which I mentioned there, of which some have not mentioned because of time, I would have shown you how we can recover things which are stolen in Malawi and are maybe invested outside the country. We are all victims, many are victims, ladies are victims, children are victims, the government is a victim. We have to strengthen the cooperation which we are doing with other countries. How? We have to start reporting the issues of cyber crimes. It starts with you, it begins with us, because cyber crime do not know borders. These are transnational organized crimes which are robbing our money, they are robbing our wealth. We have to be there, bridge the gap to fight transnational organized crime. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that presentation. I hope we've learned that Interpol's doors are always opened. If you feel like this is suspicious, please go to them and they are going to assist. Same as MACRA, our CERT doors are always open as well. If you feel like this is suspicious, please contact them and they're also going to assist. Let us have the last presentation for the day. This will talk about the laws that we have, the legal frameworks that we have, and some of the other laws that we are developing as a country. This will be taken by Irene Chwaula. A hand for Irene, please.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know it's been a long day, but this will be a very brief presentation. My name is Irene Chwaula. I work as a licensing officer at MACRA. I hold a Bachelor of Laws obtained from the Catholic University of Malawi in the year 2021. As already alluded, my presentation will be on cyber governance in Malawi, existing laws and bills. Next slide, please. So this is the overview of the presentation. We'll look at the background briefly because that has been already dealt with by Mike and also the previous presenter. Our main focus will be on incoming legislative developments and finally the link between cybersecurity and women. Can we have the next slide, please? So in Malawi, we don't have a single, our laws don't provide for definition of cybersecurity. The ETCA, which primarily focuses on cybersecurity, doesn't provide for the definition, but generally, as already discussed, cybersecurity is the ability of computer systems to resist at a given level of confidence any event that may compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of data, computer systems, or of services offered via these systems. So mainly focus on the key things, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which are the core principles in cybersecurity. Can we have the next slide? So the ultimate goal, as already said, is to attain the CIA triad. CIA, confidentiality for C, integrity, and availability. How this can be achieved, there are two ways. The other one, through tech, by encryption, access control, two-factor authentication, redundancies, etc., and legally by enacting laws that prescribe minimum standards on cybersecurity. On cybersecurity laws, in Malawi, we mainly have these laws that have been pinned on the presentation. The key one, the first one, the most important one is the Constitution, because it is the supreme law of the land. But also under the Human Rights, Chapter 4 of the Constitution, it provides for the right to privacy, which extends to telecommunications data and prohibits intrusive practices. Apart from the Constitution, we also have the Communications Act. Communications Act, as we all know, establishes MACRA as a regulator. And further to that, Section 54 prohibits also disclosure of subscriber information stored in its database of our licensees, unless certain conditions are fulfilled. So this information is the private information, and it cannot be disclosed anyhow, unless certain things must be fulfilled for them to be disclosed. For instance, maybe there's a court order, or the police are looking for it. It's part of an ongoing investigation as part of evidence. We also have the Electronic Transaction and Cybersecurity Act. This act was enacted in 2016. It's currently under review, but it recognizes digital transaction as valid at law, but also it creates Malawi CERT for incident management, sectoral coordination, and prescribing minimum security standards. The Act also, can we go back to the sorry. The Act also criminalizes data breaches and privacy breaches, unauthorized alterations, and provides for digital certificates, encryption, among other things. Recently, we also have the Data Protection Act, which was enacted in 2024, which provides for storage, processing, transmission of data, of personal data, data minimization, and purpose limitation. We can go to the other slide. So this is the overview of the ETCA, the institutional arrangement. We have MACRA as the implementer, and then we have Malawi CERT, which coordinates with specific sectoral computer emergency response teams in dealing with attacks on critical information infrastructure. We also have the e-government department, which supervises and coordinates government bodies in provision of e-government services, but also they publish guidelines on implementation of e-government services. And we also collaborate with Malawi Police Services and other regulatory authorities for enforcement, like Interpol. The previous presenter has also discussed this collaboration. So there've been a lot of technological advancements leveraging competitive advantage. This is what necessitated the review of the Electronic Transaction and Cybersecurity Act. And during the revision, now we have 3 bills. The first one is the Electronic Transaction and E-Commerce Bill, which the bill recognizes electronic transaction, and it also accords equal weight of electronic transactions as paper-based transaction, but also e-trading. We also have the Cybersecurity Bill. Cybersecurity Bill protects, it's providing protection of critical information, critical infrastructure information, and also offers security in the digital economy. Other than that, we have the Cyber Crimes and Electronic Evidence Bill. So this bill provides for dealing with cyber crimes, digital frauds, procedure powers on managing e-evidence. Currently, we don't have any laws other than the bills that we want to enact them into law we have no other regulation that helps the prosecution on cyber crimes and digital frauds. We have to use the existing laws and then connect them with cyber security. But this bill is now providing for cyber crimes and electronic evidence. Next slide, please. So what is the link with what I'm discussing here and women in cyber? We have these laws, yes, but we have challenges in terms of gender bias, underrepresentation. Women are still left behind, and we have limited access to training. That's why we need to have women as part of the team to shape gender-sensitive digital roles. So there's need for inclusivity of women in legal frameworks, but also to address online harms. If you see the trend, mostly it's women who are getting attacked online. Most it's women who are facing issues to do with cyber stalking, image-based abuse, and digital harassment. So you can simply be harassed just because you posted a picture of something, of yourself even. People start pointing fingers at you, all of a sudden you start trending with digital harassment. But also, there's need to drive policy and advocacy. Women influence ICT policy, digital rights, and regulatory decision. Because of the gap, we're able to see what needs to be done as women for us to catch up, to be on the same level as men. So, including women in policy and advocacy will also help bridge the gap. But also there are opportunities in terms of training programs and mentorship, leadership in cyber law and tech governance. Let's move to the next slide. So let's relate women in cyber and digital laws to the CIA triad perspective. On confidentiality, we are saying women help enforce data protection and privacy that safeguard sensitive personal and organizational data, but also promoting gender-sensitive safeguards against data misuse, especially for vulnerable groups online. On integrity, we are saying that legal and policy roles ensure digital systems and processes are trusted and legally compliant. So women in cyber law advocate for transparency, accountability, and ethical standards in digital governance. On availability, we are saying women champion inclusive digital access and protect essential services like e-commerce and e-government from cyber threats. Women also drive policies that ensure all, including women ourselves and marginalized groups, benefit from safe, reliable, and internet access. We are saying women participation strengthens each pillar of the CIA triad by ensuring pure, equitable, and resilient digital ecosystems. So in conclusion, women as pillars of cyber resilience, we are saying women are not just participants, they are drivers of transformation in the cyber ecosystem. And through their involvement in law, policy, and technical fields, women strengthen digital governance and uphold the principles of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Inclusive digital roles and gender-responsive cybersecurity strategies are essential for national resilience. And empowering more women in cyber means building a safer, smarter, and more equitable digital Malawi. And finally, there's a quote, cybersecurity is not just a technical issue, it's a leadership issue. And as such, women must lead. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Irene, for your presentation. You may take your seats. Another hand for Irene. We celebrate you today. All right, ladies, it's been an eventful day, right? I know it has been long, but I want to thank you for your participation. And in our last presentation, we were talking about the legal framework. Before Irene came, we had Mike.
And Mike had shown us a map of Africa, and he had said a few countries have passed laws that are pertaining the cyber or digital space. And Malawi is one of the countries that is leading in this area. A hand for Malawi, please. Just last year, the Data Protection Act came into play. That is protecting us all. And also, I think Irene mentioned that we are currently reviewing the Electronic Transaction and Cyber Security Act, and not just reviewing it, but we are also breaking it down so that it can address various aspects of the cyberspace. So I'm sure once we are done, we are going to have a robust legal framework that is going to address the gaps that are there in the cyberspace. I think that is a cause for celebration as a country. Now that we've come to the end of day 2, I hope you've been inspired. Quickly, I had said that the representatives of various universities should go and meet Airtel team. We are saying representatives because we are giving routers, not MiFis, to the institution. So this is a donation not to an individual, but the institution from Airtel. So we want contacts. Even if it is not you, but if you have the contact of your registrar, for example, please share us those contacts so that we can contact them and give them this. Airtel is giving to them for free. So we hope that you can use this maybe in your library or somewhere else. So again, I want to implore those of us coming from the various universities, just give us contacts of the people that we can get in touch with. So we give them this. So if you have these contacts, please go by the Airtel gazebo, share us the contacts, and then we are going to contact them. Otherwise, a hand for all the speakers. And a big hand for ourselves for being an amazing audience. And a hand for myself for doing a really good job today. Remember, cocktail, 6:30. We've got snacks at the back. Please, let's grab something, and then I'll see you at 6:30. I hope you posted the videos that we had asked earlier on, where you're making a short password, tagging us and Airtel. Tomorrow, we are giving away 20 MiFis. So these are the ones that are for the individuals. So do that short video, tag Airtel, tag Makra, use the hashtags, and you can win yourself a free MiFi. For the snacks, they are available for everybody. Ladies, we can be orderly. Let's form a line. The hotel will assist with giving us the snacks. Let us form an orderly line, ladies. I believe in you. For our speakers, we will have our tea in the next room in Mbidzi.